Beat Man is back.
Oh, my gosh, Durant got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard.
This is your boy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video for you guys, and we got some sports topics that I want to talk about. So obviously, the first half of this is old news, but I still want to share my thoughts about it. But the second half, on the other hand, this broke. Well, it started like the news of this broke last week, but the reactions to it occurred this week. And I really want to focus more on that than the news leading up to the reaction. So let's start off with the first topic here, and that is this. And that is Tom Brady retiring. So I will admit, I did not expect this to happen this year. I thought he was going to play one more year because the plan was, based on what I heard anyway, was that he was going to play until he turned 45. Now, I forgot when his birthday is, but currently he's 44, and until I don't remember when his birthday is or what the exact phrase was, but basically the calculation was he was going to play one more year. So I think by the time the season started or somewhere in the middle of the season, he'll be 45. I don't remember how it works, but or even at the end of this upcoming season, he would have been turning 45. I don't remember. I don't know, but I thought he was going to go one more year, to be honest. I thought he was going to go one more year. And if he would have stayed, the Buccaneers would have been one of the favorites in the NFC to win the Super Bowl next year. Or at the very least to go to the Super Bowl next year. Because the NFC, it's going backwards, I feel. I feel like it's going backwards. Because with Green Bay, there are questions about Aaron Rodgers. With San Francisco, there's questions about their quarterback at the moment, who is Jimmy Garoppolo, how you pronounce his name. They call him Jimmy G. Stephen A. called him porn star Jimmy. And then there's issues in Seattle with Russell Wilson. And the NFC North, outside of Green Bay, again, aside from the question marks about Aaron Rodgers, it's really up in the air with the other three teams. Dallas got their issues. And it's like the only team in the NFC that is really good are the Rams. The Rams, who just won the Super Bowl, who I picked to win the Super Bowl, by the way. They are the only ones who are still relevant in terms of being a contender. So I thought, okay, if Tom Brady comes back, and remember, a number of the guys that he had on his squad, they were injured. And, he had a little bit of drama with Antonio Brown as well. But my mindset was, if he would have come back for one more year, and all those guys were healthy, they could have made that one last one towards the Super Bowl next year. It's a possibility because the Super Bowl is and I forgot about Arizona. Arizona having issues too. A lot of teams in the NFC have issues. So outside from the Rams, it's basically wide open. And if Tom Brady would have came back, it would have been between the Rams and the Buccaneers, between those two squads, in my opinion. So I thought he was going to stay for one more year, and I would be like, oh, okay, let's see how the rest of the NFC looks with these quarterback scenarios and this other stuff, and then I can make my predictions. But at this point in time, if Tom Brady was still playing, it would have been between the Rams and the Buccaneers. But, okay, moving on now. Looking back at his legacy, for the longest, I have always said that Joe Montana was the greatest quarterback of all time. But when Tom Brady left New England, went to Tampa Bay that first year and won the Super Bowl, that sealed it. That sealed it right there. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever to me. And I'm glad to say that because he went to Michigan. That's my, that's the college that I root for. He went to Michigan. So, I always liked Tom Brady. That's really the main reason why I always cheer for New England, especially when they get into the playoffs, especially when they get to the Super Bowl, because of Tom Brady, who went to Michigan. If he would have went anywhere else, I would have been like, okay, whatever. But he went to Michigan. So I had to root for Tom Brady, and he got them 7 Super Bowls. So can't really complain. But at the end of the day, without question, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever. Now, that could change because of Patrick Mahomes, but now he got competition. Like, there's all these quarterbacks, especially in the AFC, you know, the Joe Burrows, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, and the Justin Herberts. And I probably missing some, but in the AFC, that is. But there's a lot of quarterbacks in the AFC. It is really, really crazy over there. So it's not guaranteed that Deshaun Watson is going to dominate. So keep that in mind. So we could be saying that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time for an extremely long time. Now, let's get on to the other topic I want to talk about, and that was this. So the big trade happened. We were going from the NFL to the NBA, where James Harden was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons, who had not played all year long so far, Steph Curry, not Seth Curry, Steph Curry, Andre Drummond, and I think 2 draft picks. Yes, 2 draft picks. So, and this is interesting. First of all, I truly believe Brooklyn won the trade. I truly believe that. Now, I'm not saying Philly totally lost because they got James Harden to go alongside with Joel Embiid, who is basically the leading front runner for MVP. He's been playing like a beast. So there's that. But the reason I say but Brooklyn won the trade because prior to this trade, Kyrie, and we're going to get to that in a second. Kyrie, you know, obviously, he not playing home games, and KD is injured. But if all three were to come back, looking at the big three, how things were before this trade happened, I would not have picked them to come out of the East. Even if Kyrie took the vaccine, even if KD was fully healthy, even if James Harden was fully healthy, I would not pick them to emerge out of the East. And the reason for that is because they don't have good defense and they don't have big bodies in the interior. Well, because of this trade, they now got a great defender. And I think I said this on this channel, but I don't remember. But I'm going to say it again here. Kevin Durant is the best shooter in the league. No, I'll take the back. Not the best shooter. That's Steph Curry. He's the best scorer in the league. I'm not sure about offensive player because I got to look at him with the assists. I got to look at him with the offensive rebounds and compare those stats to everybody else and see what's up in combination with the scoring. But in terms of scoring only, Kevin Durant is the best scorer in the league. Like, without question. There's no debate on that. But this notion that Kevin Durant is a great defender, no, that is not true. If there's about 20 dudes in the league right now that are better than you, you're not great in that category. You can be good in that category. You can be really good in that category, but you ain't great. There's no way. You're not great. So when it comes to defense, Kevin Durant is not a great defender. To me, I think he's a good defender. If you want to give him really good defender, that's fine, but he's not a great defender. And saying that, to be honest, he was their best defender. If memory serves it correctly. So they really needed defense, and they got that in one of the top 3 best defenders in the league in Ben Simmons. And even though they gave up the playmaking ability of James Harden, they getting one back in the form of Ben Simmons, which means Kyrie does not have to handle the ball in terms of him playing the point guard position. He could be more of a shooting guard, which to me, technically, that's what he is. He's more of a shooting guard than a point guard. So with Ben Simmons handling the rock and setting everybody up, and Ben Simmons don't even have to score. He don't have to shoot because you got Kevin Durant. And to a degree, you got James Harden. And you got Steph Curry shooting 3. Not Steph Curry shooting the 3. So it's like Ben Simmons don't need to score. All you got to do is just play defense against the other team's best scorer and be the floor general. And that's it. And that's what they needed, and they got that in Ben Simmons. They got 2 things as Ben Simmons. They needed a big body in the interior. They got that in Andre Drummond, who can, even though his offensive game is not good, but the dude can get blocks, and he can get rebounds, and really he can get offensive rebounds. So that means he's giving the likes of KD and half of Kyrie second opportunities to score on that same possession. So they took care of that. And because they lost Joe Harris, more likely for the season, who was their spot-up shooters or whatever, they now got Steph Curry. who can, I mean, he's a Curry. His brother is Steph Curry, who is the greatest shooter ever. So you know his brother Steph can shoot too. So they addressed all of those needs. And it's like, to me, I think that the squad have gotten better. Now, am I saying that Ben Simmons is a better player than James Harden? No, I'm not saying that. But at the same time, when you give up James Harden and you address all the needs that you needed, like, bro, you got better. Now, the thing is, I think they're currently at like 9th place in the conference. So and then KD is still out. And Ben Simmons, he's not even playing yet. So, and remember, Kyrie, he can only play road games. He can't even play home games. So we'll see what's up with that. It's not like they're going to like immediately turn it around immediately. That's not going to happen. We'll see what's up as the season goes on past the All-Star break, which is this weekend, actually. So we see what's up with that. But what I want to talk about are the comments that was made by Ben Simmons. So there was a press conference on Tuesday, and he basically pulled a 180 in regards to why he sat out the first half of the season. Because remember, it was said that when the playoffs ended last year, somebody in Ben Simmons' camp or Ben Simmons' camp as a whole told the Philadelphia 76ers organization, Ben Simmons is suffering from mental health issues. That was what was said. So we talking around May and June. Ben Simmons' camp came up to the Philadelphia 76ers organization and said, Ben Simmons is suffering from mental health issues. Well, the Philadelphia 76ers said, wait a minute. Ben Simmons' camp came to us in the fall. So we talking more than likely it's September, but it could be September, October, or November, one of those three. But either way, the Philadelphia 76ers organization saying, no, Ben Simmons' camp came to us and said Ben Simmons was experiencing mental health issues in the fall. That's what they said. They came up to him in the fall and told him that, which means one of the two is lying. Now, we get to the press conference, and Ben Simmons was saying, oh, I never really had mental health issues. I was dealing with a personal issue. And the report prior to this was, well, wait a minute. Because Ben Simmons sat out and didn't really participate with the team, with the sense of some practices or whatever, he didn't play any games with the team, he was being fined for every game he's missed. And Ben Simmons tried to fight that and use the mental health thing as an excuse to get paid. So now all of a sudden you want to switch it around and say it was never mental health issues, it was personal issues. And even if it was personal issues, you're still going to get fined. You still got fined. So you're not getting that money back. If you legit say it was mental health issues, even though the Philadelphia 76ers said, oh, mental health, yeah, we got mental health doctors to help you out with that, and you denied it, I mean, but you were still saying mental health issues so you could get your money. Now that you're no longer with Philly, you're saying, oh, it was never mental health, it was personal issues. And here's another thing. Obviously, it's been reported all throughout the season, oh, he had issues with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid had issues with him. And obviously, there was issues between him and the Philadelphia 76ers. He had issues with the fans and stuff like that. Now, he was saying, oh, I never had issues with the fans. I never had issues with the organization. I never had issues with the coaches. I never had issues with any player on that squad. And I'm like, why the 180? What's going on here? So, I'm looking at Ben Simmons, and based on the reports that have been out there throughout the entire season, in combination with that press conference that he came out with, I'm looking at Ben Simmons like, yo, bruh, he's a spoiled brat. That's all I got to say about that. He's a spoiled brat. Now, looking at James Harden, well, I heard no faults with his press conference, but it is an issue where if things don't go your way, you want out. Things didn't go his way in Houston, he wanted out. Now, granted, they were rebuilding. He didn't want to be a part of that, which is fine. I understand that. I'll let that slide. Now, how he went about it, though, that's a different story. He purposely got fat. I think he missed training camp and stuff like that. He just showed up and barely balled and stuff like that. But he wanted out of Houston. Now he's in Brooklyn. And then all of a sudden, now he went out of Brooklyn. And there was a scenario where he basically said he went out of Brooklyn, but he's not going to say he went out of Brooklyn. I'm like, bruh, come on now. Come on now. And he got his way. He's out of Brooklyn. And I can't totally fault him for wanting out of Brooklyn, to be honest. I cannot totally fault him. Like the whole, I want out of Brooklyn, but I'm not gonna say I want out of Brooklyn. That's like you're being a bitch. Like, just flat out say you want out of Brooklyn. Just flat out say it. Like, yo, just, I mean, if you want to keep the issues, if you want to keep the matters private, so be it. But like, if you want to say you want out of Brooklyn, just say it. Don't be a bitch about it. Just say it. You want out of Brooklyn. Now, the reason why I can't get on him is because of the reasons why he went out of Brooklyn. And these are speculations. And here's the deal. Injuries. They've been hit with injuries. Like, that big three only played together 16 times. And they've been together since the start of last season. So we're talking 2020. So there's that. Injuries are an issue. The roster is an issue. So there's a lot of stuff that are issues in Brooklyn. But like, if there was one person to blame, so even though there's a bunch of issues that led to James Harden to leave Brooklyn, but if there was ever one person to blame, I would say blame Kyrie. Because again, he's still not there for the home games. He still want to take the stance about the whole COVID situation at the expense of his teammates, at the expense of an injured Kevin Durant, at the expense of now his new teammate Ben Simmons, at the expense of his new teammate Steph Curry, at the expense of his new teammate Andre Drummond, and at the expense of the coaching staff, and really at the expense of those Brooklyn fans who pay money to see him. So that's the issue. That's the issue. And until he, like, and again, I talked about this whole COVID thing. I'm not going to talk about it again. But until he basically said, okay, I want to win a championship, let me get vaccinated. Until that happens, that's another reason why I don't see Brooklyn going to the NBA Finals. So basically, there's two reasons now why I don't see them going to the NBA Finals. One, Kyrie ain't there all the damn time. And two, their superstars are injury prone. KD, who is injured right now, is injury prone and has been injury prone for the past, 3 to 4 years. Kyrie has been injury prone. He's been injury prone for the past 6 to 7 years. This goes back when he was in Cleveland and continue on when he was in Boston. So he's been injury prone for a long time. Ben Simmons has been injury prone for the most part his entire career. And what's going on right now? I think I don't know if he's injured or not, but I don't know. But he sat out that last game, so I don't know. But he's trying to work his way. I mean, he hasn't played all year, so I don't know where his injury status is. I don't know if he's injured now. I don't know. But he's working his way out of being injury prone. But prior to this season starting, really prior to the playoffs last year, to be honest, he was injury prone throughout his entire career. Now, those are the two reasons why I'm looking at Brooklyn and saying they're not going to the NBA Finals. Now, I can look at Philly and say they're not going to the NBA Finals either because they gave up a lot. They gave up a shooter. They gave up Joel Embiid's best backup that he ever had. And James Harden is injured right now, so he's injury prone. And he's been injury prone for the past 2 to 3 years. And Joel Embiid had been injury prone his entire career. He's been injury prone his entire career. Now, he's in the process of working out of that, but he's got some ways to go to do that. So he's been injury prone his entire career. So those are the reasons why I don't see Brooklyn nor Philly coming out of the East. More likely it's going to be Milwaukee again. It'd be interesting if it's Miami again. But yeah, I don't see it being Brooklyn. I don't see it being Philly. So there you go with that. And I'm going to call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. the new Stupid A Smith, saying peace out, y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.